My name's J.Y.B with Dean Foster from Mika Records and Epi.
How's it going, guys?
How's it going?
How you doing? Nice being here.
Yeah. So my first question is, what got you into weed?
What got me into weed?
Yeah.
Well, I've been a medical patient since 2013. Before that, obviously, I was dabbling here and there. Was always that kid hanging out at the skate park. That's kind of where it started, right? Recreationally, and then I got to the medical side of things. I had like a little bit of an issue with prescriptions and opiates, so I kind of used cannabis to wean myself off of it. Yeah.
And you just dropped a single today.
Yeah, the single's called Lidocaine. It's up on Spotify, everywhere you can find music. Google It's Epi. You can find all that good stuff there.
Awesome. What's the effects on cannabis? What's for long term?
The effects?
Yeah, the long term effects on using cannabis.
The long-term effects?
Yeah.
Like a long-term side effect, you mean?
Like long-term side effects?
Yeah.
Or benefit? I mean, to me, I would say more there's like a benefit to it because you can use that instead of other illicit substances. So, being medical and cannabis, it saves lives at the end of the day. So, I mean, if we're looking at cause and effect, it's a medicine that people can use. They've been using it for thousands of years. And that's pretty much it. And I do work in the rec market. So on that side, we're able to provide knowledge and education to people and choosing the right things and, introduce the terpenes and all that good stuff to them.
Nice. You have a couple songs about weed. Most of them are.
Yep.
Your album was about weed man.
Yep.
And you work at a weed shop. What's the best parts of working there?
So the best parts about working in the retail space is actually seeing a lot of legacy people coming over to the legal side. So a lot of people I grew up, studying, stuff like that. They came from medical or the legacy, coming to the legal market. It's all the people I looked up to. And it's been a great experience so far. Also being from the medical side, coming over to recreational. So it's been a great time.
Do you have any questions, Ian?
Not really questions, but I've basically done the same thing. I'm a little older than you, so I was kind of like the hippie era where we smoked pot all the time, So, and then I kind of grew away of it, and the 80s came along, and cocaine was introduced to the world, and that messed everybody up. It messed up my life for a whole decade. It just consumed it and everything. And I developed some medical issues. I have MS and diabetic and that, and neuropathy in my feet. So I kind of went back into the whole marijuana thing. And I met a gentleman who had the first compassion club ever in Canada. His name was Grant Krieger. He was out of Alberta, and him and I started talking and getting together. He started educating me on things and that. And then I got diagnosed with MS, and he had very bad MS. So we got to kind of go through it and work our way in. And then the whole just helping people is just, that's what my drive, that's my rush. I get a rush out of helping people. In the music industry, I get a rush about helping artists achieve that next level shit and that. And it's the same way with marijuana. And I don't even charge people for marijuana. Where cancer patients, many different things, ADHD, PSD. I had police officers' wives that used to come to my medical marijuana store that was an illegal one, and they would buy marijuana for their husbands because one of my stores was up in Nipawin, Saskatchewan, where the tragic Humboldt Broncos hockey team thing happened. So those responding officers and that ended up having their wives come to the store to come and the benefits are unbelievable. So I understand where you're coming from perfectly, because it's the same thing. Like I did way lots of bad shit, and then actually had to come back to weed, and weed actually saved me. So
Yeah.
What's the advice for someone that is trying to start out on weed?
So for someone who's starting out, the best thing is to study as much as you can, understanding the laws, the regulations. Every province is different. Also, as long as you have a clean record, you know, you're good to go. For someone who's kind of considered like a weed nerd in their friend groups, and you know, people would think it's useless information. It's actually the best for the cannabis industry. So if you kind of if you have an interest in cannabis, even if you come from the medical side, it does help within recreational, because at the end of the day, cannabis saves lives. And you know, if you can provide the knowledge and education, and you just want to study about terps and cannabinoids, then you know, it's wide open. Also, it's a brand new industry. You know, we're only on year 5 right now in legality, so it's still new, right? You look at the what do we got here? Terps, right? Yeah. But if you look at the alcohol industry, you know, it's been around for so long, and cannabis is still brand new. So if you're eager and you're willing and you want to spread the good word about cannabis, it's there for you.
All right. Is there a new album coming out?
A new album?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we've got Green Room 2 that's coming out, and that's going to be a collaborative album with a bunch of artists that I love and have looked up to. So stay on the lookout for that. Probably early next year it'll be coming out. So yeah, stay tuned. Always dropping lots of music, getting back into all the different genres, not just cannabis. So yeah, you can stay on the look for that.
What inspired you to get into music?
So what inspired me to get into music was to spread the word about cannabis. That was the first thing I wanted to do, kind of use a platform. I've always been into music. My dad actually used to work for Rolling Stone. He toured with Bob Marley and the Wailers. He was a guitar tech for Peter Tosh. So, you know, music has always been around for me, and I've used it as an outlet, kind of like a mental punching bag, so to speak. You know, started out doing underground hip hop, went through all that, did the group stuff. I had my own label, and you know, it just full circle. Music has been a hobby. It turned to a career for me for a while. I was a touring artist all around North America for the last couple of years until the pandemic hit, and that's when I got into cannabis.
I see you guys have tattoos. Which one was your first?
So my first tattoo, I was 13 years old, and it was this Wu-Tang symbol. Wu-Tang was my #1 group growing up to it. So yeah, man, I've been getting tattooed. You know, they say some people hang their art and others wear theirs, and I'm someone that wears mine. It tells my story. If I look back at every tattoo, whether the quality's not the greatest, I remember those memories at that certain time.
And which one's your latest?
The latest
Yeah.
would be the one on my throat right here. So this is a Visuda. This is the chakra for communication. You know, I thought it was the right place for the throat, you know, and portraying my message. And yeah.
If someone's taking medication and cops are telling them to not smoke weed, but weed helps them, should they keep on smoking weed?
So if we're looking at the medical side of things, you know, I'd always say like consult with your doctor just to make sure it doesn't agitate any medications or flare it up. You know, so I would say like with the recreational side, it's always there, so you can use it. But as someone that uses it for a medical purpose, I would consult with a doctor, kind of go from there just to make sure it works with them and the medication that they're taking.
new single. What inspired the beat and the lyrics?
All right, so for Lidocaine,
Yeah.
that kind of comes from my background. I had a lot of ups and downs when I was younger, some problems with the law. So kind of that song is portraying the lifestyle that I used to live.
Yeah.
And then just kind of over like a beat that is, it's actually created by someone called Raising the Crates. They're from Italy. I do a lot of work with them. And so what kind of inspired that was just my old lifestyle. Yep.
What does your tattoos on your hands say?
So on my fingers, it says "Stay free, live life." So when I was going through like the jail systems and stuff like that, I always needed a constant reminder that this isn't the end result. Life does get better. So to stay free and live life is something I've been doing currently. Getting away from drugs and being sober now. It's just a constant reminder of where I come from and to live life,
So, Dean, you are CEO of Mika Records.
Yeah.
And Mika Records been around for just a few years.
Yeah. Actually, Mika Records came to about 6 months ago.
6 months, yeah.
I had another label before that, and we had too many cooks in the kitchen, and there was no meals getting prepared. So I cut loose from there along with one other person from there, which is Christine,
Yeah.
and we formed Mika Records. And in that whole time, we had been with Cousin Floyd with Low Royalties, but when we cleaned house, we got rid of everybody on the label except for Cousin Floyd. He's got some mad talent, so.
Yeah.
And the whole group of Lonelyboyz that I've met and everything, there's some really talented fucking musicians in this game,
Yeah.
There really is, and I think the ones that don't know it the most is themselves,
Yeah.
I've met quite a few musicians in the past couple of days that are so talented but have no clue whatsoever how talented they really are. So.
Any touring stories you guys have?
Oh, touring stories? Yeah, I got lots of touring stories. So I guess the one that most people know me for is, I've been a part of BattleRap Warriors for 8 years. I did a lot of tours with Madchild, with La Coca Nostra, with Slain, Demrick, and I guess like the most memorable stuff was being able to travel across Canada and seeing different markets and kind of understanding how to treat this as a business. I learned how to sell merch, connect with the fans, be one-on-one with people, and then having that large platform. I made a lot of fans through that. I could go on all day about tour stories, but I guess the most memorable is going out on tour with these, Juno-nominated, award-winning artists, and really just learning the business, the insides and outs.
When you started out as a battle rapper, how hard was it?
So I never did battle rap. I was part of BattleRap Warriors.
Yeah.
So it was it's a worldwide organization, and basically it was everyone that shares a common appreciation for underground music, people who are about the arts, extreme sports, all that kind of stuff. But I did dabble around the BattleRap community, especially like Beast Mode. So a group I used to be in, it was called Northern Minded, and Ree and I were in a group together. And so reality, he, eventually climbed the ranks and became the Beast Mode champion. So a lot of the guys now that still run that league, I'm really good friends with. We came up together. I have been in and around the BattleRap community for sure.
And you are sort of like the co-founder of Lonelyboyz.
Yeah, I guess you could say I'm one of them. Yeah. Yeah, so my main thing was kind of being like a creative director. And so now you see like the Lonelyboyz logo. and the O is always different. It's some different symbol. So I was actually the first one to change the broken heart to a weed leaf. So that kind of was, it kind of paved the way for the artists to have their own symbol that kind of represents what they do with music. So yeah, I've been there since the early days, watching Rada grow as an artist, you know, being in the local industry, and just coming up in Barrie. There's a lot of great artists, and you know, we thought instead of trying to go against each other, we came together, and basically Rada created Lonelyboyz, and I just brought the attention and the vision to it. So that's pretty much what I've had going on with Lonelyboyz from the start.
And that's pretty rare.
Yeah,
it's pretty rare in this industry that you get people that come together, because usually the industry, everybody's too busy stabbing each other in the back and that, and like, and as soon as they see you succeeding, then they start some bullshit drama and that. To try to knock it down and that. So for me to come and to be able to see this like in person, like I flew in here day before yesterday, and I see this, and it's like, this is a tight group. This is rare. This is special. Shit could be done here. The biggest thing is they all don't have the same amount of drive.
Yeah, that's correct.
If they were like on the same wavelength together, these guys would like blow up internationally, like literally. But they just need to figure out who wants to like be in the Lonelyboyz and rock it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And who wants to do it as a hobby when they're in town?
Yeah, 100%.
Are you planning on going on tour soon?
So you know, I'm clear. I'm able to travel into the States. I'm able to travel everywhere now. So yeah, like definitely that's something I'd like to look into. I think a big amount of my fan base is in California, and especially doing like cannabis music and working in retail space. That's definitely somewhere I would like to visit and do shows in, and kind of build my name up a little more in cannabis.
I can help you with that. My son-in-law's cousin is Mike Tyson's business partner.
Oh wow!
In their weed farm up there.
With the Tyson Ranch.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Hey, that's what it's about.
Inside that.
That's what it's about, man. It's about connecting. It's not working against each other. It's working with each other. Yeah.
What inspired Weedman and what that song?
What inspired Weedman?
Yeah.
So what inspired Weedman was myself. I tried to get into cannabis so much, like being an artist that would perform at all of these events and such. I tried so hard, and then eventually when I got both of my feet into the industry, there was no one performing at all. So what I did was I kind of fine-tuned my music more to the cannabis stuff. I have a lot of references for cannabis, a lot of medical stuff, a lot of recreational stuff. So kind of what led to Weedman was doing a collaborative project with a local extractor in town. He goes by Jolly Roger. So him and I came together. We did a collaboration on a concentrate line. And myself and Solid Dog, we both had a strain together, and that's kind of how we met each other, was through weed. And so what inspired Weedman was literally the weed, man.
You work in a retail shop. What is it called?
So I work at Graffiti Cannabis in Barrie, and that is it's a private store. It's not a franchise. We're more brick and mortar. We focus a lot on craft cannabis and directing people to good products.
You performed at a weed show in Toronto.
Yep.
Tell us about it and how you became to perform there.
Yeah, so I get invited out to a lot of cannabis expos, and then also weed markets. So just performing at that, I have a lot of fans and a lot of friends and family who are in cannabis regardless. So just having the platform and working in that, I'm always there for networking, and I'm there for a good time. The funny thing I will tell you though is performing for people that are stoned is very difficult. Everyone's sitting there, you ask them to make noise and they smile and they giggle, right? So for me, I think it's awesome, you know, and having like medical patients there, you know, people that may not be able to have access or accessibility by wheelchair or anything into a bar or a club. You know, I really like doing performances outside, and the event went really well. It was at Hall of Flowers. They're a big, they're a big chain that's all over California. So yeah, it was a great experience. I met a lot of new faces, familiar faces, and yeah, I just anything cannabis and music and art. That is who I am, and that is what I do.
Well, should we cut it short or keep on going?
Well, yeah, it was pretty good. I think we can wrap her up, and it's going to be a good night here in Barrie tonight. Cousin Floyd, the Lonelyboyz, a bunch of artists playing. I flew in from Saskatchewan. I'm pretty excited to see this. I'm pretty pumped for this. So it'll be my first time seeing Mika Records recording artist Cousin Floyd perform live. So I'm stoked. I want to let's party. Let's have a good time.
Let's have a good time. Let's smoke up. You got some of these stuff at the...
So this right here, shout out to Big Boss. You already know what it is. Big up guys in Toronto. And I just want to give a shout out to Shotbymilk, Dean from Mika Records, Jack from JYB, and this is Epi, and make sure to come by. It's the guy that gets you high.
Good.